Now, back to Silver Moments with Dr. Marsha Baltimore.
This is my silver moment. I'm going to go home and collect all my papers so I can get them in order for you, Mr. Katz. I have another question because I never thought about it before, but having a co-trustee is on my mind today because I have one family member who's an MBA kind of guy, and he could do that math and everything. But I don't know if I need a second co-trustee or just successor trustee like a bank. What do you recommend there?
You do need a successor trustee, because if you don't, then the family members will have to go to the court and have the court appoint
Okay,
one.
so you have to have a successor, but how about a co?
You can have a co. I've had clients who insist on it. My experience is that it's a disaster because
good news.
parents always think that their kids will get along. And reality is that the kids don't always get along. And you say, I don't want to favor one in place of the other. It's a horrible responsibility being the trustee or the executor.
Yeah, I see that.
You have to comply with so many laws and regulations, and you're on the hot seat, and you have to be, beyond reproach, like Caesar's wife, like we used to hear when we were kids.
How about the co-trustee being a bank?
That's just going to double your cost in the long run. Because then who are you talking to at the bank? What do you?
How about your attorney?
Most attorneys I know don't want to be the trustees.
Oh,
they know
it's a separate job.
It's a separate job. You, as the trustee, can hire an attorney. You can hire an accountant. You can hire a business investor advisor who will all
help him.
Be paid from the trust estate. And you'll get a small fee also, a reasonable fee.
The trustee will get
a reasonable fee.
Yeah, that's in there.
That's in there, right.
For life it is, if he's going to manage.
As long as the trust exists.
That's right, for the life of the trust, not the life of the man or the woman. You're right. Okay, so that's really not a concern. You can concentrate on other things like the successor trustee.
Right.
I like that. Thank you for helping. Now, did we discuss how a will was different from a trust in basic terms? Because I think that's what we should end with now.
Okay. A will basically says, my name, John Jones, I am a citizen of the County of Los Angeles, California. I have an estate. I want Jane Jones to be the executor. She's my wife. I have 3 kids. I give everything to my wife if she predeceases me. I give everything of my estate after all the expenses are paid to my trust. That's called a pour-over will. That has to be probated. If, however, the assets in what would otherwise be a probate estate are less than $150,000 starting next year, $100,000 this year, but if you die now, you don't have to do a probate this year. You do it next year anyway. So you can avoid all that if you're less than $150,000 outside of the trust or outside of joint tenancy, or a insurance policy or a pension plan that's payable. If you just have $150,000 or less, there's no need for a probate. So if you die and you have a will that says I give everything to my trust, and the only thing that's not in the trust is like a car, your personal effects, a small bank account, and the aggregate value of that is less than $150,000, then there's no need to go to court. The trustee will just take it with an affidavit.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, and let's say there's a $30,000 bank account or a CD. You just go to the bank and you fill out a form, sort of like a certificate of trust, it's called an affidavit, and under 13100 of the probate code, and they'll give it to you if it's more than 40 days after the death of the person. If there are debts of the dead person and you take it, you're responsible for those debts out of that money.
Yeah.
Like funeral costs, credit cards, all those things.
Exactly. I see. So you kind of work with the numbers. Under 150 is a different category than over 150.
Yeah.
I see how you said that. That's very good to know.
But you don't even have to go to the bank if the bank account is in the trust. It's just so much easier.
Yes, that's right. It's easier. Yeah. Put your bank account in the trust as well as all the other properties that the trust owns.
And if you put a checking account in the trust, the checks don't have to say trust on them. It's just a signature card that's important.
Oh, really? I never knew that. Mine does, but I
doesn't have to.
Well, it does already. But anyway, the question then becomes, if you need a good lawyer, you better get one. So you can call this number, ladies and gentlemen, 310-571-2727.
Which was most appropriate because that was your premium.